don't know if I'll live up to amusing and entertaining, but I will try my very hardest. As Zaz said, my name is Courtney Butler, and I coach over at Seahome currently. And I'm very excited to be able to speak here at Magna on behalf of Justin LeBon. Justin was my coach when I was in high school from the 2002 season through the 2005 season. And I could not have asked for a better high school forensics coach at the time. Granted, I never had another high school forensics coach, so I really didn't have a frame of comparison, but I thought mine was the best. And after having been a coach myself and interacting with a lot of other coaches, I now know for sure that I was very fortunate to have such a remarkable coach through my high school years. Not that I'm going to sit up here and talk about myself when we're here to honor Justin, but what really started my relationship with Justin and made me realize that he was going to be such a remarkable mentor in my life was that I had absolutely no business competing on the forensics team when I first started at Seahome as a freshman. I signed up for the speech class that Justin taught as a requirement, and I don't know for sure, but I really don't think at the time I thought that I possessed any great speaking talent or any business being in performing arts or competition. I had tried and it had been a lot of fun, but I was just taking speech class because I needed to. And Justin either saw something in me, or I guess I maybe thought at the time was looking to amass as many people on the team as he could, but he already had a really great program going, so I don't think that that was necessarily the case. And he encouraged me, as he did other people in our speech class, to join the team, and I did. And I started what was an awful season of never semifinaling in a single regular season tournament and not having a lot of personal success at first. But what was amazing is that, a lot of students, when they are not having success, tend to fall by the wayside and not want to come in, and that was definitely me, but Justin did not let that happen. He spent just as much time with me, if not more, than the people who were already self-motivated and talented and having success on their own accord with the help of Justin. So he spent the entire season with me, and by some stroke of luck and genius on his coaching abilities, I actually ended up finaling at the state tournament that year. And I don't know how many hours it was for sure, but I'm sure between regionals and states, I was in there every day, and Justin did not lose patience and worked with me just as enthusiastically as he did with however many state champions he had that year. And I know it was a few because you don't drive up to Marquette and come back with nothing and, have to explain to the school why you had to miss 4 days to drive all the way up there. Similarly, I know that was his approach with every student. Seahome has never been a school to turn students away from wanting to compete on the forensics team, and that's something that I've always really admired about Justin's philosophy. Anybody who has any interest and any passion, and then the kids who are completely unsure, Justin will encourage them because he really believes in the need to gain confidence and foster public speaking skills. I know that was the case for me, and then luckily Justin wasn't only stuck with me, but he was also stuck with my younger brother and eventually my mom. And he did the same thing, not just because it was my family, but he saw something in us and helped us become who we are today. My brother wanted nothing to do with forensics, did not want to be like his older sister, was a wannabe wrestler and baseball player, and was okay at all of that. And then Justin was able to convince him to do forensics, something that I was not able to do, something that my mother was not able to do. He was obviously much more persuasive than either one of us were, and then he went on to achieve great success with Justin's help, also being 2 or 3 times state finalist. I'm not exactly sure. But enough about the Butler family. But what I admire most about Justin are his team philosophies. A lot of coaches can get up there and they can coach by the book. They can see how other people have coached before, fill out paperwork, do what they're supposed to do. Justin won't do anything on his team unless he believes in it. I can imagine him as a head coach. I think I've also witnessed it, sitting at home, stewing over different decisions that he was going to make with his team for hours. And if he didn't believe in a certain rule or a certain regulation or a certain practice, then he wasn't going to do it. No matter how many other people told him it was the right way to do it, he had to believe in it. And I think that that's incredibly admirable, because if you don't believe in it yourself, then how can you expect your students to also? And I think sometimes he was maybe met with some animosity with some of the choices that he made, but I think it made our team a lot stronger. Forensics is individual events, but I've never competed on a competitive team that felt more like a team. We were all encouraged to do our own individual thing, but the morale, the team building, the peer coaching that Justin encouraged was remarkable. And what really speaks to how our team did over the 11 years that I think you were the head coach is just the dedication. Justin gave up his entire life to coach on the forensics team. I remember Justin promoted or chose me to be a team captain, and it was the end of the year, and I was like, all right, so excited to get started next year. And he's like, next year? Summer's starting. We're going to see a lot of each other to start working on next year. So there went my summer vacation. I think Justin had just bought his first house, and me and the other captains went over there, excited to see how he was decorating it, how Jane was helping him. And we walk in, and he's sitting in this chair with piles of books, literally taller than he is, 6 or 7 of them, and he's assigned readings for everybody over the summer. He's assigned many more to himself than any of us, just books and books and books. And what's so great about it, he was on the cutting edge of any literature that was coming out. He didn't want to recycle pieces. He wanted to stay current and always be on finding the freshest pieces, the newest literature, constantly reading all the time. I don't understand how you were able to convince someone to marry you and have children with you when you were spending all of this time doing these things. But I think that he was probably able to do that because, at least at the time, Jane was just as invested in this activity as Justin was. And behind every strong man is also a strong woman. And I know that my experience at Seaholm, I attribute it to Justin's phenomenal head coaching, but Jane was also right there. It was getting, two for the price of one. Yes, right there, every step of the way. And they were this dynamic duo, this unstoppable duo at Seaholm, and it was so much fun to compete under both of them because they had so much spunk and so much passion for it. And I don't think that Zaz mentioned this before, but Zaz does have a gift to give you a little bit later. And as he was talking about, there were so many people that wanted to come up here and speak on behalf of Justin. But the problem is so many of Justin's former students have gone on to be so incredibly successful in public speaking and performing arts that it's hard for them to get away from it. I know that I reached out to a lot of Justin's alumni in the past few months to let them know what was going on, and I didn't realize I was reaching out to former broadcasting state champions who are now news anchors and actresses in New York and actors out in California. I mean, they're all over. I all of a sudden felt like I'm a speech coach of a high school forensics team, and all of my former competitors are famous, but that's okay. Because at the end of the day, what is the measure of a speech coach other than what his students have done with their lives? And I know that I would not be standing here, would not be coaching at Seaholm if it weren't for Justin and Jane's direction as the Seaholm coaches. I hope every day, and I try to talk to the students that I have now about the type of program that they are a part of, how it's been this growing program that's had its ups and downs, but the one thing that has been consistent, I hope, are some of the philosophies and passions that Justin instilled in the team. And I have absolutely no idea if I am doing anything in the way that he would have wanted, but I know that I go over to my mom's house and I dig through papers to try to find stuff that Justin gave us years ago, hoping that I can carry on some of the stuff that I had forgotten about when he was a coach, because I would not be here doing this if it weren't for Justin. So congratulations. I can't think of somebody better to honor this weekend.